Dabbed in Ink presents.
Warning. The Hear It in Horror podcast is a review podcast that is full of spoilers of the first few episodes of the shows that we discuss. If you do not like spoilers, please pause and go listen to the show. We announce ahead of time what show is discussed in the next episode, or you can check it out in the show notes. We'll be here when you're done.
Hello! Thanks for joining us for another episode of the Hear It in Horror podcast, where we dive into the depths of horror audio to tell you if it's worth your nightmares. I'm Ashley McAnally, and I'm here with my lovely guests. Say hi, guests.
Hi, guests.
I love y'all so much.
All right.
Okay, now, was that the first time you've actually looked at our intro? Because I shared before. The second time? Okay.
Yeah, no,
because I saw your faces. So I was...
I just can't help but react because I'm doing this eye roll thing so hard. I think it's funny.
What am I doing with my hands in a little bit?
We're all doing a lot with our hands.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with spirit fingers, okay?
I wanted to get us animated, not just talking heads.
I appreciate it. It makes me laugh in a good way.
Okay, so let's go ahead and get to what we got. What we heard in horror this week was episode 1 and 2 of Partial Veil, created by Allison Cossett. Partial Veil first launched in September of 2024 and has a complete season 1 with season 2 in the works. In episode 1, it opens with the date October 12th, 1998, in a distance from the moon. So I am fascinated to see what my guests are going to say about that. And then we hear an unknown voice reciting part of the Lord's Prayer and weeps as, we hear the roar of a chainsaw after that. And then we pivot. After that mysterious opening, we meet Josie Ward and the other police officers in Barron as a body is found. Josie gets questioned by the FBI about the disappearance of Halo Reese. We get a glimpse at what Josie and Halo's relationship is. From what I gather, there is definitely something going on there, but not quite clear what it is yet. By the end of episode 1, we find out that the body is not Reese, but now Josie has a murder to solve. Doesn't take long though, because in episode 2, we find out that it was the wife of the victim who did it, but she says she did it because Reese told her to, which leads to even more questions that need answers. So, let's start with overall. Remember, try to keep this one short. Overall, what are our thoughts? And I don't have a fun fact this time, so I'm just going to start.
You hear that, audience? We've run out of fun facts about ourselves.
No
I
more
saw
fun
the list.
facts
I
for
feel like
y'all.
there were more fun facts.
Listen, there are, but we also go on for a while about them. So I thought we were trying to
We
balance
do
it out.
go
for
on,
time.
don't
We are cut for time.
So Clay, overall thoughts.
Overall thoughts, I enjoy this. It's hard to find one that I don't. We have found that one. But overall, I enjoy this, actually. It hits the right buttons for me.
Perfect. Alrighty. Alante.
I am in camp. I'm not sure. So for me, and I'll talk about this more, it has that element of From the TV show, where there's just lots of there's a mystery and then kind of an answer and then more mystery, and I'm just I'm not sure how to feel. So I will say I kind of enjoy not having to make up that decision quite yet. Yeah.
Okay. Izzy, how about you?
I'm sort of on team. Not so sure about this one, fam. I got hit with a lot of sort of tonal whiplash on this one, as things are very upfront and in your face, which is a type of sound design that's really not my bag. I understand where the strengths are of it, but it's not necessarily my jam.
Okay. And then Jessica, what do you think?
I find the mystery very compelling. I think there's some really impressive things being done here. It's just that for me, sometimes the format, because this is a pure audio drama script as opposed to having narration, having any sort of omnipresent something, or even a first-person narrator describing what's happening. So everything is purely what you're hearing in dialogue. And at times that can get a bit confusing when we're moving through flashbacks, we're moving through different places and different times and different characters to kind of keep track of what's going on. But I am interested to see how the story pans out and where it goes.
Okay, awesome. So mentioning the story, let's dive right into there. I feel like with this one, we might just start with the characters. So what do we think about, let's start with Josie.
Yeah, I'm gonna lead in with I really appreciated that it was a majority female cast. I feel like I don't run into that a lot, and so it was a nice breath of fresh air for me. For me, I thought the casting was largely really, really excellent. Everybody was very professional. There was only a couple of one that were misses for me, and they were misses for different reasons. And I think one of them was a miss on purpose. So I'm curious what other people are thinking.
Wondering what you think that miss on purpose is, but okay.
Was it Grace?
What's the last name?
The wife of the dead man.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
I think that was a purposeful choice.
I thought it was on purpose too. After I sat with it, I was like, yeah, okay, this is on purpose. It's still me, but
Okay, how about so characters as written, not as voice acting characters yet. Just how the story's progressing. What do we think so far?
That's so hard because I feel like the characters are so intrinsic to the voice. There's something the way Halo Reese is okay, first of all, being British in a mostly American, Pan-America kind of a thing, that sets it up for an almost uncanniness, even though America's a big melting pot, right? So it's kind of hard to detangle certain affects from the character because they feel intrinsic to the character. They don't necessarily feel like the voice actor's automatic choice. You know what I mean?
I'd say that's a good compliment to the voice actors there, that they are so ingrained in the character that it's hard to separate the writing from the character. So good job to the crew.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of the way the sort of narrative progresses is just sort of through a pure strain of kind of these different characters. You don't get a lot of sort of design outside of character moments to sort of things are not really set in a scene per se. So a lot of what you get is these very upfront character interactions which tell the story sort of to you sort of through that rather than sort of through sort of quieter sound design moments. So as an ensemble cast, I thought it was actually really good on that. You have that sort of the story is kind of progressing at a very kind of snappy rate throughout.
Yeah, it is.
And as far as the casting goes too, I think the choices were made correctly, that each one helps the character archetype even more so. Each one's fitting that role that well. Like you're talking about the British guy in middle of nowhere, North Dakota, is going to stand out. Well, intentional, I think that was done so well of just making sure that, okay, this person, we don't have to say why they stand out. Their pure existence just is.
And that adds to the mystery, of course. It's why is this British dude in North Dakota? As someone who lived in South Dakota for 4 years, the unofficial motto is, at least it's not North Dakota. So,
what? Oh, damn.
Yeah.
That's messed up.
So, because, South Dakota's well, at least we have Mount Rushmore. And then it's well, North Dakota has... Oh, God, is it the one with the world's ugliest state flag and it looks like a kindergartner drew it? I have to see.
See, now I'm just concerned, though, because you insulted the 12 people from North Dakota. Not our listeners. All 12 people who live in North Dakota.
12 people from North Dakota.
Oh, wow.
Well,
I mean, go ahead and look up the flag for North Dakota and tell me if they deserve it or not. I'll wait.
Look
All
up
right,
something
listeners,
on screen, you monster.
Oh,
I don't know how to do
oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's-
I'm just gonna
Look,
Anyway,
Yeah.
Miss Ginger's kindergarten class deserves full
Oh.
respect for this. Okay?
Oh god.
as he stated everything up front, and we're talking about the characters. Part of me, like, what I really enjoyed about this as a very music person, I appreciated the use of music, especially as like these like monologue-y vignette pieces. Like the beauty of doing that technique for me means that, like, regardless of the delivery, it either greatly enhances it or floors it in such a way where, like, maybe it was a flat delivery, like there's still the dynamicness of the music that keeps you engaged and keeps things moving forward. So in a way, I want to say the music could be a character, but I haven't seen that like amped to 11 yet.
As far as like our protagonist goes, like I am curious to see, because we have in the second episode where Grace Carlson reveals that she's the one who killed her husband, and if you listen to the episode, she's very much not acting normal. She's acting very strangely. She doesn't seem to be accepting the weight of this. She's saying this very casually. She's very upbeat about it, and then she says that it was Oliver Reese / Halo / Hal who did this, who told her to do it in her mind, that like she heard his voice in her mind, and he sort of like implanted this seed of like, she obviously, because she and her husband couldn't have children, and she obviously felt like guilt about that, and she even says that her husband never made her feel bad about that, but she felt like she wasn't doing her duty in the relationship personally, and the voice of Reese kind of told her that that was true, that Eric resented her, that he didn't think that, you know, she was pulling her weight in their marriage because she was unable to have children. And so I'm curious to see if that influence, if it really was Oliver Reese or something using his voice or using his presence to sort of like mislead and do a red herring there, if that also had its influence on Josie, because she sort of acts strangely with him as well, because we get our first introduction to how they met. She moved back to Barron, North Dakota because her mom was ill, her mother, and she had to come take care of her, so she rejoined the police force. She grew up in Barron, and then her mother passed away, and she inherits the house. She's trying to sell it, and she can't leave before she sells the house. She needs the money from the house sale in order to go live her life again. But one of her first calls when she gets back is some teenagers are being held hostage. And she's like, oh, these teenagers, they were messing around, snooping in his place. And I go there and I look in the window and he's got them tied up with duct tape. Kids these days.
I was like, what?
Yeah, that was
And the FBI agents are like, yeah, the FBI agents are like,
the words like teach them a lesson, like that's what he was doing,
Yeah.
and like he was doing.
and she's like, oh, they were
things
laughing,
like
it was fine, and he has a great
techniques,
smile.
Like,
Yeah, and I'm like,
and the FBI
So-
folk, what is it? Agent Witt and Special Agent Ramsey, they call this out, like pretty much like, so this seemed normal to you? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, and she's like, oh, kids, and so
You must not have
Like, it's
grew
like-
up in North Dakota.
yeah,
I mean,
so
North Dakota, you know what? Kids get up to really weird shit up north.
yeah, and
I
you
would
just
know.
tie them up with duct tape when they act up. So it's like my only issues I think I've had with Josie so far is she just seems entirely brain rotted when it comes to Oliver Reese, and I'm like, is he that? Because she mentioned she's like, he's got a nice smile, and I'm like, girl, how nice can the smile be?
It's
Okay.
a fucking nice smile.
This
We're not
what
supposed to
this
swear,
whole
sorry.
recap and like my feelings on the show and why it's I think I mentioned it, but it's like giving me From you get kind of like tossed in this world, tossed in this mystery. Things aren't quite right. Things don't really line up to like even what the characters think is normal life, and then there's just question and question and question and question.
Mystery
and
box.
It's a mystery box, and so I listened. I could only get up to episode 4 before joining our recording, and I'm just like, are we gonna get some answers? Where are the answers? I think that is the only that is one of the downsides I was experiencing going from 1 to 4 is like I kind of need a little bit of like answer or like breadcrumb here to get to the next point.
So on that real quick, I want to ask you a more personal question about the genre itself. How do you feel about mystery boxes as is? To give the biggest example being Twin Peaks, that was never supposed to have an answer.
Depends on that. Yeah. I do enjoy mystery boxes, but like the hard thing is, I feel like it's exceedingly difficult to do in audio. Like when I'm listening to the show, I can feel like the AMC, HBO, Showtime, like, bam, like production. But there's some stuff lost, as Jessica mentioned, by not having like visual elements, by not having like breaks or like these kind of clear delineations between scenes. Because the mystery boxes aren't just like they said this, they did this. There's a thing off in the corner that like a season later you're like, oh, that was relevant.
That's fair.
You know.
Yeah.
So I think I like mystery boxes for the breadcrumbs and trying to be like do the whole Knives Out thing of like, who done it? I think I know who did it because in the first 5 minutes this person did this, you know. So.
Well, we do have some breadcrumbs. We have, because Josie mentioned during her strangely combative interview with the FBI that she had like gone missing in the. She's like, yeah, when I was 7, I went missing in the woods.
Well,
and they're like, well, what do you remember about it?
They brought it up. They were like, we saw it in your file.
Oh yeah. She has a file because she like
something like
applied to join the FBI a few times.
Oh yeah.
A lot of times.
A lot of times apparently.
Get
she
me
went
out
missing
of
in the
Barron.
woods. I mean, again,
She's stuck
having
there.
lived in South Dakota, I understand. I moved back to the desert. That's how bad it was. But so she went missing in the woods for 3 days, and we know there's some supernatural foolery going on because she said she skinned her knee on like day 1, and then she doesn't remember the 3 days she was missing, and when she came back out, the knee is still bleeding.
Which is
I believe
great
these
device, I think. Just that.
Yeah, I was like, ooh, we love the weird little creepy stuff.
it's a-
I love
it's a good
I love a
weird
little
hook.
moment.
Like
Yeah, I'm
it's
like,
a solid
ooh,
weird
okay.
hook.
Right, so like we have that little nugget. We have the moon thing.
Okay, this confused me so I'm like, okay, so first of all, the whole format. I thought the trailer at the beginning of episode 1 was the show. I was like, why are they telling me the entire show before they start the...
I think that's worth mentioning. If you do listen to the episode from episode 1, you're going to hear a teaser for a podcast. It is not the podcast you're about to listen to. Because Alante even mentioned it in like our chat. He's like, I totally thought the trailer at the beginning was for the show, and then I was confused, and I was like, what's he talking about? And then I listened to it, and I was like, wow, this is different from like the trailer that was... I thought that was folk horror, and now we're talking about a missing husband, and then I was like, oh my god... He told me, and I still did it.
Fell for it.
I still did it.
Silly little thing, yeah.
So when you listen to episode 1, that little teaser at the beginning, that is a teaser for another show. It is not the show you are about to listen to. But immediately after that, we have some unknown homie who's like...
The unknown
the date.
homie.
The unknown homie. That's
I know, yes.
the UH, if you will, the They're like... the date, and
Yep.
it's in the 80s, I believe.
90s.
90s. It's
Late
great. And then they give the distance from the moon in kilometers. And my
I mean, I
Our
love that
American
for,
brains
for
are like,
us.
my
What?
my
Here
dumb
in
American
Canada.
brain is
Like,
like,
thanks.
is that
Thank
Is
you
that-
for the metrics.
is that
Is that a secret in-world measurement?
I know, I'm like, is this the correct distance from the moon? Are
Yeah.
we getting closer to the moon? Are we getting further from the moon? Is this a Majora's
if we're
Mask
getting
situation?
further
Where's
from
the moon?
than this distance, then we are in legit trouble. This is like the apogee of the moon. Like,
I'd say, like,
how
We're
far
losing
can
the
you
moon.
get?
I'm
Yeah.
glad you said
Well, didn't it
Majora's
say
Mask,
on-
though, because that was the first thing I thought of. I was like, is that the plot? Is we going to die? Is it incoming? And I was like...
I mean, it better be. It better be. It's on an elliptical orbit, and that's its furthest point. So.
Okay, well, my difference is not is it getting closer? Is it going to hit my backyard? That was
Okay,
that was
no,
my
this
thought.
is not a Majora's Mask situation. I don't think. I mean,
So there's no
we
face
don't
in-
know.
there better be a-
I
I need a
haven't
face in
listened
the
to the
moon.
entire thing. It's got a second season coming out. It could be a Majora's Mask situation. This could be like boom, dawn of the 12th day or something.
But
Well,
can I
Alante
skip to
didn't
the-
follow through. Like, I've only listened to 1 and 2. I didn't do any further.
Yeah,
so
it
on
keeps
Ian
going.
3, it keeps. Did you notice
keeps-
that the numbers getting bigger or smaller?
I honestly, Like, it's happening, but the numbers went like whoosh.
I wrote down the first one, but forgot to write down the second one to compare my notes. So.
I think we all did.
But yeah, I wanted to know, like, what are your theories other than the Majora Mask feel? Is there anything?
This is leading me to my other question is like, all right, so there's something maybe important about 1998, and I'm not quite sure what it is.
My thought on that is just, I think we need a new term for this genre, because we had like the westerns, which was an era specific, and now we're seeing a lot of stuff from the 90s. I hate to just point to the obvious of Stranger Things, but
Don't say a period piece because I will throw up.
no.
I will throw up.
Yeah.
And even that, I hate that expression, because it's like, okay, but what period? Like, I'm gonna need still some more, brother. And like I said, we had westerns. We could have the 90s, but it feels so lackluster to call it that. But we're seeing a lot more 90s things
like
now,
it's just
and
the
part of it,
nostalgia
I think,
cycle catching up
Well,
to
and
a
I think-
different time period. So
it's possibly that, but also, Izzy, we were talking about TTRPGs one time, and when you have lack of internet, lack of cell phones, you can do a mystery so much better, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Exactly. It's not like, well, why didn't you text me? It's like, because we didn't have texting.
What's going on?
okay?
Well, I looked up
Which
Wikipedia
relates-
and ChatGPT, and now we know what's going on, you know?
it's like, why can't
Which
I look up this
circles back to the
specific
moon.
thing? It's like, because the internet is like 5 people right now.
And 4 of them you don't want to talk to.
Exactly.
Which to me circles back to the moon, right? Because you have to think about the tech at the time then, and it was like, could you get a really super accurate distance with 98 technology?
Yep.
Us? No. NASA? Easily.
Which
But then,
means that
like-
like this person is an alien, or like works for NASA, or something else. You
Or
know?
is just an enthusiast about the moon? I don't know.
Well, didn't like Galileo like accurately within a realm of whatever judge the distance to different planets and stuff?
That's a fair point.
So if like Homie
okay,
could do it.
yeah.
We were not that backwards
yeah.
in 1998.
Yeah.
When it
Well,
comes
the-
to stars and stuff, like we got interested as a species real early. So you know, if you think like, is that distant? Did they have accurate distances at this? Yeah, they did. They had reasonably accurate distances to things.
I stand corrected. But I will point out like the voice used is very different from everyone else. Meaning like either the accent of the actual voice actor or the affect they're portraying feels very alien from the rest of the cast.
Well, it's got like a little bit of reverb on it to kind of put it outside of what else is kind of going on, because we go from like the moon, like at its apogee, given its distance, to unnamed homie, I think we were calling it,
The unnamed
with
homie.
the
The
wolf
unnamed
howls
homie.
and the ravens, and then the smash cut to a silence and the chainsaw, and another smash cut to the telephone. Like there's a lot happening there. Like.
Okay,
But-
which makes me jump to episode 2 really quickly. But so that is my gripe with the opening of episode 2. If the portrayal of Mrs. Carlson was supposed to be off-putting, it made it very hard for me to like really settle into episode 2, because there's this like echo going on with an already kind of like off-putting character or portrayal that like I kind of needed to pause
Yeah.
and then when it started I needed to breathe. I was like, okay,
Yeah,
cool.
there's a little bit of a trope that's kind of going on with the design, wherein there's a lot of like overlapping voice moments that happen that can be a little like they're supposed to be disorienting, but at the same time, like it's a little bit much. At
Well, the
least-
first time it happened, I was like, okay, we're in a party scene now. This is everybody talking at a party scene. But then it just kind of like devolved into like people like weeping and screaming and crying, and I'm like, this is a bad party, man. I don't know what's going on. But I was like, okay, this is sort of like a scene break, is
Yeah,
what
yeah.
I think that is being used.
that one was used as a
But it
scene break.
happens at the end of the episodes as a
Yeah.
stinger, and like I was like trying to figure out like, is it a stinger? Is it just something cool they wanted to do? Like, what is this trying to tell me, the listener? And I just couldn't quite
I think
figure
there's
it out.
a lot of exploration in these early episodes, and I haven't listened past the first 2, so it might because it's like it might be important to the plot later on, like the problems or the issues that I'm seeing right now. It might be like something that's resolved later on. So it's like I don't want to be like, oh, I didn't like this didn't make any sense, why was this here, when it's like, well, in season 2 that solves the whole shibboleth, you know. We don't know that yet.
but we have to kind of judge this on like, yes, but that is 2020. That's hindsight, right? Like we kind of need to go from on onset knowing nothing to, you know. But I will say, going from 2 to 3 to 4, I saw a lot of like improvements in spaces that I was finding a little challenging or hoping there would be. So like I have high hopes the further this goes.
Yeah, I think just overall the problems that I'm seeing, if we want to discuss the difference between having a pure audio drama script where it is only sounds, it is only dialogue, versus having narration. I think that's kind of where a lot of my confusion with what's going on comes in, like not knowing what these voices are or why they're here or things like that. We have a lot of very small scenes. We have a lot of moments where we don't know that it's a flashback until we get more context and stuff like that. And I think that kind of plays into a lot of... It's hard to write a purely audio script. As someone who reads submissions of audio scripts, and sometimes people just send up straight up screenplays, and they're like, so-and-so is wearing a black leather jacket, and he walks across the room. He's holding a metal bat, which he taps against the floor. And I'm like...
I'll set up the Foley for it. We'll get a jacket,
right,
we'll
like
get a bat, you know...
And even then, it's like, how is the listener going to know that what they're hearing is someone's jacket rustling and that that's a bat hitting the floor? So I think a lot of times it's hard when you're writing something to interpret how it's going to sound purely in audio. So a lot of, like, if I was looking at the script from this, I would probably see, like, interior, present day, Josie Ward's car or something like that. And then in the next scene, it would be like initial interview, in the past, so and so and so and so. But as purely an audio listener, we're not privy to that information. So we only have the sounds to go off of. So I think having the shorts, like, I feel like when the scenes are longer and we know where we are and who we're with, that's where the story really shines, because we know what's going on. It's when we are switching scenes that I'm feeling some confusion about what's happening in the story process.
So I just want to echo exactly what you said, because I'm in the same boat, but like I can feel it. I can see like that it is AMC, Showtime, HBO, like that kind of like show. Like I can tell. And for me, I think there were only a couple of moments where I had trouble painting the picture. I think the blessing and the curse of having so many disparate voices is that I could see each character individually, but I had a hard time seeing them all in the same scene. That gets easier, as you mentioned, like in the long scenes, because that's where things shine, and you get a little subtlety here, you get a little nod here, a little Foley here, so you're like, all right, you're here, you're probably this tall, you know, you have like probably a big broad chest because like you're coming at them like raw.
Down, Alante, down.
Wow.
No ginger cowboys here.
Yep.
Damn it.
I think
I'll say I liked
sorry.
everyone having such distinct voices, because again, having a purely audio script, I can recognize them pretty quickly. Doing the casting for No Sleep and stuff, there have been times where it's like I've cast people that I think would do great for the role, and then you see the comments for the episode, and it's like, I can't tell so and so and so and so apart. Their accents are too similar, their voices are too, you know, like people, because not everyone has the same like ear for recognizing voices and stuff, and I'm like, okay, maybe we don't cast those two as people having a conversation with each other again, you know, that kind of thing. So having such distinct voices, it's like I know exactly who's speaking, even if I don't know when they're speaking or where they're speaking. I know exactly who's speaking.
I will say,
I
sorry.
No, you
I'll
go,
say
you
it like
go.
to back that up easily. So I'm one of those people with dumb ears. Like distinction is difficult for. Oh, it's no. My friend calls it dumb ears. Tonal language is completely lost on me. So yeah, making it easy for me to be like, okay, that's easily person A. This is person B. Like, oh, it's an absolute godsend for that one. Love it. So thank you for that.
Izzy, you wanted to add something? Go ahead.
Yeah, actually, because like in regards to like the character aspects of this, I feel like there's a little bit of a what the heck moment with each character we're introduced to, that that kind of gives that sort of, I don't know, Twin Peaksy kind of like thing where like, you know, like Josie for instance has, you know, we're introduced to her and she's sort of our vector through which we experience the narrative, but like right away we're getting like Ray the police guy and Walter Ross, who are like very shucks, heck, like, you know, they're very like
Fargo as hell.
Fargo as heck.
Yes.
Like, and it's like, I think there's a body, like, oh jeez. And I'm like, what's going on with this town? Like, we're introduced to Diane Ramsey, the special agent, and she comes in with like, they're playing, what is it,
like hardcore
flower.
opera, and then there's
Yeah,
like
no,
a
it's
fleshy
Duo de
sound.
Fleur.
Cutting?
It's the
Yeah, I
Duo
was
de
like-
Fleur, which is like straight up
Yeah.
American horror story, like with the stabbiest, like the wettest, stabbiest sounds going on. And she answers the phone and gets called, and she calls in this agent DeWitt, or no, not DeWitt, just Witt. I think.
Wit, yeah.
Yeah, it's Aline Witt. Yeah, and she comes in and she's got the over the top accent and is kind of all gung ho. She has the exchange with oh shoot, what's her name? Angie.
Yeah.
Ange. Where you're like, who are these people? What's going on? Like, they're all just a little bit out of true in that kind of like.
I literally wrote, everyone in this story is a freak. In my notes.
But in this story really is a freak.
Everyone is acting so strangely. But again, like, is this intentional? Is there
Well-
like some greater weirdness happening on that's affecting how people talk and
Like,
communicate?
I'm kind of
I
hoping
will
that's
say-
really what it is, because like it's that kind of everything is out of true, everything's a little bit off, like uncanny. That like I feel like if that continues on through the story, that would be like really cool to see it explores like what is going wrong with all of these people, because it started before like Diane even showed up, because I don't know who the fuck she's like murdering in her house.
I thought she was just making lunch or a salad or something.
Right, exactly. Because
was
again,
just
like,
like, yeah.
just having the audio, she wasn't like, sorry, I was making
Well,
lunch.
I
know-
thought
I
it
know
was
how
a
you,
clever
like, make those
transition
noises
trying to.
in like a.
Well,
Was it a
it's-
watermelon? What was it, Izzy?
It's either a gourd. It's a gourd of some form. It's either a melon or a pumpkin or something for the big thunk sound or and the squashing bits. But you need to get some real like metal on metal for that knife. Like it's got a shook kind of like quality to it. That's just like it's the stabbiest, wettest of stabbiest sounds. Like it.
So
it
she's
doesn't-
carving pumpkins. We
Yeah,
got
it.
it.
Goes all the way to 10. Like right off the bat, just like right up there.
So okay, so you think what was happening was a dead body, was like a, because for me, for me it felt like a fake out.
It's a little wet for it.
It's really wet, but it felt like a fake out, because we get from this like murder intrigue thing to like that like, and like yeah, you're meant. Like it sounds like it's supposed to be the eye of the murderer to the person who did the body thing, right? And then you get the transition with the music, and it's like I was like, oh yeah, they're playing, you know, music while making food. Right?
Yeah, like there's definitely
Hannibal
like they
Lecter
start with
ass
like
shit
straight
going
up,
on.
Yeah.
straight up like the Duo de Fleur opera aria going on, and then it transitions where you can hear that it is now on like a device that's being played openly in a room. Like there's that tinniness shift, which was appreciated.
liked that,
It's like
yeah.
we're going from the ear of the character into the ear of the recording point. Essentially, there's like depending on how you design things, whether or not you have like a point in the room that sort of exists as the ear of the listener, separate from everyone, like is part of like style. This one doesn't really have that so much. We tend to stay very close in with all of the voices at approximately the same volume, so like there's no sense of being in the space most of the time. Though you can see kind of the usage of the techniques that are used to kind of create that idea of space being used, just without that sort of like the creation of distance, which is usually just alterations of panning and volume of the voices.
Yeah, I'd say it's more like an audio movie, so to speak, rather than like found footage.
Yeah, no,
where it's like the camera's over here and we're talking over here. It's like we're very much just in the action the whole time.
Yeah, it has more of that feeling of like the old school radio play, wherein like everything is kind of like a similar distance because they're all like there for audio quality. Like you get that ability to like really hear what everybody is saying, so that it cuts above any sort of noise. Like they used to do that because the noise that radios made essentially made it really hard to create those sort of spaces, and also you had to edit the ever-living hell out of them. So
well, you brought up a great point, Izzy, that everyone's a little bit left from truth, I think you said.
Just off of true.
And
yeah, they're
just
all,
off
they're
of
all
truth.
just a little off of true. Like there's something
so
wrong.
I will bring up the like one really red flag for me was Ange, because like I want to know if that was the voice actor's choice or if that was just what happened or something else, because they like we're hitting very close to that line of caricature, like all for me. And I'm glad I kept listening because I wanted to make sure that they pulled back a little bit, and at least in like episode 3 they pulled back from it, but like they were still pretty high, like orange red. So that was the like one of my big like voice acting kind of concerns, and I would love to know like if it's a voice actor's choice, I'm all for it, but for me, that was the most true character. Even hitting that red, like you can tell the parts where like the voice actor brought in like maybe pieces of themselves or somebody they knew or somebody they grew up with, and like for me that character is also the closest thing I've found so far to like the story's voice of truth. So I wonder if they are absent this whole being left of truth, or maybe I'm wrong and they're the most affected. I don't know.
Kind of a chain of characters pointing out just how kind of crazy the other characters are. Because like Angie is definitely like, as she's being interviewed by the FBI folk, definitely pretty upfront with like, okay, and this one is straight up crazy, which is kind of legit.
But like they were also, I feel like, playing into a thing for the characters in the scene. So I was torn on how exactly to feel about the exchange.
I think
Does that make sense?
I don't know. I think again, in my opinion, from what I've seen so far, it comes back to having a pure audio script. We can't see there's no narration to tell us anybody's backstory or their perspective or where they come from. So in order to know people's backstories, they have to flat out tell us. And so that happens with quite a few characters so far, where they'll just flat out say something that you normally wouldn't talk about and have like a full like a full prepared speech about certain aspects of like your background or your childhood. That it kind of felt like in this situation, where a lot of times characters will be like, and this is how I got here, and it's like nobody asked.
Oh, come on. You don't think every character needs a David Copperfield moment? You know?
But then how do you get those moments outside of, because again, it's a purely audio script. So it's like, how, if this is important information to know about this character, how do you do that where it sounds natural? And I think that's, again, a big difficulty in working with a pure audio script. You either have to be very, very nuanced, or you have to have someone flat out say it. And maybe in order to move the story along, have you understand these characters immediately, the creator was like, I want you to know this now. This is important to know now. So we're just going to say it, you know?
Yeah, this is no time.
I think you're right.
Like,
Yeah.
Like I thought. Well,
Yes.
I agree, but like for me, like I'm glad I continued listening into 3 and some of 4, because I thought, like, from episode 1, this was going to be the season mystery. We were going to get this slow burn. Just because we've been listening to so many slow burns, I was like, kind of preconditioned myself to like, and for it to be the answer, here you go. I was like,
Yeah, I guess part of this is kind of like whiplash, because like
Yeah.
our last one was so minimalist. Just one guy, no sound effects, no music, very nuanced writing, and then to go from that into like a full
HBO.
production,
Yeah,
I was like,
This
Yeah.
I
I
wanted
was like,
to
all right.
mention at some point. Like, we kind of went from like, okay, very like going for the real, very minimalist production, like complete whiplash to the other side of the spectrum, where it's like there's just like there's a lot.
this is more my jam. So
I know
We're
it's
getting
your
closer-
jam, but music is your thing, Alonso.
I have a lot of like just kudos and joy and sorrow and empathy, the whole gambit for this creator, because I've been in this boat. I like where I was doing like it all. Izzy was there with me. We were doing it all, and it's
There's a
so
lot.
and it's so difficult, right? Because like for me, sometimes I'd get so involved in trying to maybe get a character right that I completely didn't like take a second and third pass at a dialogue. So when it actually went out there, I was like, oh man, this could have been more natural. So that's the other side of it. Like, when you're in all of it, you have this clear, amazing vision. You can get everybody aligned. You can get everybody, like, on the same page and, like, create something really beautiful. But without... And I'm so glad Izzy was there as a sounding board, right? Like, because it shored up a lot of, like, the weaknesses I was having. So I'm just saying I have a lot of love and kudos for the creator.
yeah, no, it's like I think I've tried to do like an actual produced audio thing with like sound effects once, and I was like, this is awful. I hate this.
There's
Yeah,
a lot
yeah.
to learn. Like, it's kind of a
Yeah,
whole
like,
jam.
it's-
like
It's yeah.
I completely agree with it. Like there's a folder on my computer. When I die, please delete it. It's not what you think it is. It's just a lot of half-produced bullshit that 3 in the morning of me messing around with audio that never ever needs to see the light of day. Just get rid of that for me.
Publish.
publish.
Good. Do you like the
Absolutely.
last story? Publish it like your psychiatrist.
Upload everything to,
Yeah.
to free sound.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, go ahead, Izzy. If you
Oh no, I
add
think
something.
I'm good if we want to like move along into our next topic.
Okay,
'cause
well, I
think-
did want to, because we kind of like, we just went for it. Y'all just
Yeah,
went
we kinda-
everywhere.
This one's
The whole
very
gambit.
scattered.
Where
Yeah.
were you,
We're
Ashley?
all over the
Where
place.
were you?
Yeah. Heard them cats.
But I am interested. So, Alante, if you know the answers already from 3 or 4, don't answer. But like, what are the questions left that that you would listen on for to see if you get an answer soon or sometime in season 1? Like, what are those questions that you really were interested in? Because the one for me, and it was smaller, but at the end of E2, where we get the wit to Ramsey's like, why did you even bring me on? Like there's some kind of history between those two, and that was kind of something I didn't see coming. So that was another subplot. I'm kind of interested to see how that plays out.
Yeah, I'm curious
I-
about certain romantic entanglements, because I was
will-
like, these FBI agents?
Can I give a slight spoiler? Just ever so slight.
No.
Are we allowed?
It's not.
That's
it's
my
just- it
job.
gets-
If we're not allowed to do
it
that,
gets-
I'm out of here.
I'm not gonna. I'm gonna say. Can, we
One or-
can cut this
it's-
out.
Okay, go ahead.
That'll be answered sooner than later.
Okay.
Okay.
That's it. That's all I wanted to say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because like homegirl Josie is like obviously into Oliver, right? Like she's not fooling literally anybody.
Well, I
And I'm
mean,
like, girl.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen the smile, but like, girl.
Okay.
But like,
Hal,
girl.
Hal is an odd one.
Yeah.
Like, there's something off there.
Yeah.
Look, there's just something, wonderful about a man who just happens to stand in his bathrobe in the middle of the woods and being like, yeah, life's okay.
Yeah,
Weird, but
I mean,
okay.
he's real into psychedelics is one of the things that is like.
And it
And
shows.
it shows. Not into mushrooms, which I think is important, but
Yeah.
Granted, like, the British accent will do it for so many people. Like,
yeah.
you could have nothing else going on, but if you got an accent,
I gotta admit to y'all though, like the first 15 minutes, I was like, I should just quit being a voice actor. Like everything was so crisp, everyone sounded so good and was in their
yeah.
character. I was like, well, fuck me, I guess. I'm sorry.
yeah, and I'll say
bad.
the voice acting quality was very professional. Like this didn't feel like anybody's first gig, and at times when the dialogue could maybe feel a little unnatural to how people just talk out in the world, I think the voice actors did a really good job of smoothing that over in a way that, like, any qualms I have with the writing, the acting made it less noticeable for me, if that makes sense.
If I remember correctly, too, though, everyone on this show has a pretty decent resume. And I believe most, if not all, like, actually have a history together, so they know how to work with each other. Which I think...
I was going to ask, usually this is Alante's question of if they recorded together, because that first scene with Josie and Oliver, there are reaction noises to what he's saying. Just like little things that aren't usually in a script where he's like, come on, Josie. And she's like, like usually there's not a in the script. But that's something that happens naturally when you talk to each other. So luckily we have the creator here to ask questions. That's one of my big questions, is how much of it was recorded together and whether or not it was or recorded individually and just stitched together, because it comes off very well like everyone's talking together.
5 cents tells me there was at least 1 or 2 table reads. For me, my questions are really like the more esoteric, like why 1998 specifically. I feel like it's more than the technology stuff. Like I think there's something, because they could have said like 1990. There's something about like on the cusp of the millennium.
Maybe we'll get a time skip.
Or time skip.
So we need to like set it in the past so we can like jump 10 years in the future.
Which might be why that moon thing is happening. But also like why the name? Why the name? Right? Like
the
for
name
Sparks,
Partial Veil?
like it's yeah.
It's
the name of the woods that Josie got lost in, right?
It's also the cap of a mushroom.
Oh.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I didn't know that.
Interesting.
Okay.
See, I
Is
thought
it a
it was like
psychedelic
between
mushroom?
two
Well,
worlds.
the guy's not into psychedelic mushrooms.
We're not asking about the guy. We asked
know.
you, Izzy.
So I feel like maybe somehow, maybe guy is a mushroom.
Oh, what a fun guy.
Oh, I hate it. I hate it so much.
There we go. I knew
so
one of you,
angry.
I
What
knew
does
one
that?
of you would
God
bite.
damn
I
it.
knew one of you would bite.
Fine.
The Last of Us, right?
I mean,
Yeah, with the, what are they called?
Yeah. Fungus zombies.
Yeah.
I don't know.
the
They're
clickers.
not just called the infected, right?
The
Yeah, the
infect-
clickers.
Yeah, they're just called the
Oh, yeah.
infected on it. And then there's the clickers, and there's the other ones. I don't know. I worked on the damn show, and I can forget.
Yeah, 'cause this whole, like, that's why everyone's acting crazy. They all got spores.
Yeah,
Everyone's got spores in the brain.
Oh.
Because she says that she says like what in the beginning, like, hey, mushroom friends or something like that. It's okay. Well, it's all coming together, man. It's all coming together.
Oh, there we go.
There we go.
This is why I ask these questions.
See, you're like, I wish there were more breadcrumbs. The biggest one completely glossed over. Just
completely missed it. Okay. Clever.
I mean, when you're a mycology fan, a lot of this kind of makes sense.
Alrighty,
Oh.
on that note, let's go ahead and take a breather before we move on to our next section. So as we prepare, please enjoy this 60-second reset. Time now for our 60-second reset. Today's 60-second reset is brought to you by Clay.
Alright, time for our minute movie, other M word. I don't know, we'll work on the branding eventually. Today's pick is Coherence from 2013 and asks a very simple question. What happens when you mix a couples only dinner party with quantum physics and a dangerous lack of trust? It starts innocently enough. Dinner, wine, awkward exes, and a blackout. Electrical kind, not the tequila kind. Then someone goes outside and comes back, well, different. Phones stop working, notes appear where they shouldn't, paranoia sets in fast. You know that feeling when you walk into a room and forget why you're there? This movie is 2 hours of that sensation, weaponized. Shot on a shoestring budget and replacing the entire idea of a script with pure vibes, Coherence goes from pass the salad to no one leaves my sight at breakneck speed. Tension doesn't ever really let up. By the end, you'll find yourself asking questions like, who can I actually trust? How do I know what's real? And most importantly, what has Xander from Buffy been doing this entire time? Final verdict, 5 stars for tension, plus 1 bonus star for making dinner parties permanently suspicious. Trust no one, especially if they brought dessert.
Welcome back from the 60-second reset. So we have been discussing Partial Veil, and we do have the creator here with us, so we will be getting to them in a minute. But before we do, kind of as we've been going, we've been talking about audio script versus narration. Is there anything else we want to touch on with that? Like, because we have talked about how hard it is, right? So what do you think would make I don't know about perfect, but like a really good audio script for it to find that balance? Like, where's the balance there? Getting us the background, getting us the story. What do we think makes a good script versus a narration? Or would you always rather have the narration? So kind of open the floor there for that.
Oh, that's a toughie. Like, the D&D player in me doesn't mind and loves the narration to kind of like give the break, set the scene, tell you a bit more of like the things the characters wouldn't say. Like, I think I'm maybe of camp narration. Yeah.
I think the situation, like, depending on what story it is you're trying to tell, will determine what the best format is. If you want to create a very visual world, if you want to have lore, if you want to have epilogues and prologues and things like that, I feel like narration is the best way to do that. If you're looking for more of like a character-driven story, or if you're looking to hide certain things, you don't want everything to be up front right away, then having it all being told in dialogue and sound effects is a way to formulate that. So I think it really depends on what the story is you're trying to tell, and then you find the appropriate medium, because there have been times where it's like, we'll get a script in, and it's just people describing what they're seeing and what's happening, and I'm like, if you just wrote this as prose, just pure prose, it wouldn't feel awkward, you know? And then like other times I'll have a story where it's like, most of it is just people talking to each other, and then the narrator pops in to be like, he turned to the left. It's like, oh, thanks, I needed that.
I'll agree with that. I think it definitely depends on the story being told and the intent behind the story. But if you're asking what I prefer, I'm always going to go with the potentially snarky, omnipresent observer. I love that idea. I love that way it's delivery. It can describe the simple things like bringing up the leather jacket and the baseball bat. A snarky, otherworldly voice could have done that, you know? And it's simple, but it's effective.
And I feel like, especially for this particular show, like that kind of all character, I could see an all character for a few episodes, and then slowly this omnipresent voice comes in to kind of,
or just have Josie be the voice, you know, like she could be like, well, today I was talking to Ange, and this is what I know about Ange, and then Ange doesn't have to tell us directly, like during an FBI interview, you know, sort of situation. Or like Josie can tell us about herself and her feelings about things, but then again, it's like, if she's going to be maybe an unreliable narrator because she's under some sort of something from our British homie, then she's not going to be telling us in her right mind, you know. So it's like, I guess I don't know enough about the story at this point to pick which I would prefer for this story, you know, because like there's a lot of confusion right now, but that might be on purpose, you know.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of the choices of like where to kind of like set the narration versus story oftentimes relies on like what the sort of central conceit of the audio drama is. Like, how does the audio aspect play? Like, is it a tape that's being recorded at some point in a place versus like, is this a radio show? Is this sort of the disembodied camera that's just sort of floating around following different people? Like, this one definitely sits on that sort of disembodied camera side, where it doesn't seem like there is sort of a central, like, conceit of how the audio plays into things. Like, it's not a recorder that's being held on a specific character, or it's not following the viewpoint of a specific character. It just sort of sits in the middle of the space, hitting all characters kind of equally. So I feel like, that sort of lends itself very well to this sort of like character-based dialogue, sort of driven narration that they have going. So I feel like it was a good choice for like what the style and conceit was. If that makes any sense.
Also, super random non sequitur, just because I remember it and I loved the kind of self-awareness. There was a moment in the show where Ange was just like, was like, hey, oh yeah, you're finally here about all the disappearance of all these women that have been gone. And they're like, nah, we're here about this dude. And she's like, you motherfuckers. You goddamn motherfuckers over one white dude? Really? And they're like, oh, sorry, like, it's not our, we didn't do it.
we don't pick the orders, we just do what we're told. Yeah.
And you know what? I love that self-awareness, because I did have, like, a moment reflecting where I was, like, a little worried that, like, it wasn't enough. The central mystery is, like, where is this dude? Things are happening, and, like, the other people seem to be B-plots. So I was a little worried that it was just going to be all about this dude. Yeah.
Sorry, Alante, I'm trying to listen to you, but I see the cattail trying to replace your mustache, and I'm just completely distracted.
Oh my god, it looks so good with that mustache. Yeah.
Very Tom Selleck. You could rock it, yeah.
The end.
I was fixing to say, any other comments on script versus narration?
I think we kind of hit this one a lot, and with good views on the side. So no, I think we got this one covered.
Awesome. Okay. Anything else around Parshobel before we wrap up and get to talking to the creator?
I want to continue listening, but I'm having difficulties with the telling over showing. That's my final thought. It's a really excellent, well-produced, love the voice acting. Mystery boxes are my jam. It's just like those moments are a little too jarring for me.
So are you thinking, team no pickle, or do we need another pickle for, like,
I think this is like another cucumber for me.
Oh no!
It's another cucumber. It's a cucumber. It's in the brine, maybe like a day. Like, I am more on the positive. Like, I want to keep going to see like where things get even more excellent, and the central mystery of the story. But yeah.
And
I'm hopeful.
I mean, not every show's for everyone, obviously, but I will say, as a person who's caught up, I had the privilege of being on, like, the live listen with the cast and a few fans for, like, the finale, and oh my god, everyone was sitting there in their existential dread, just I can't believe what's going on right now.
Stop intriguing me.
Yeah. So if it's for you, it's really
literally
for
his
you.
job to intrigue us.
Yeah. Look, I do two things here. All right, I give far few views in the future of the show we've watched for 2 episodes or listened to for 2 episodes, and I make comments that go absolutely nowhere. Okay, this is what I do.
Word.
So is that a team pickle for you?
Yeah, like I said, I really enjoyed it. Like every time a new release came out, I was looking forward to, like, that would go to the top of my queue for the day. I enjoyed it.
And you know what? It's just nice to listen to something that's not horny. You know.
You say
It's the little things in life.
It was mildly horny.
Yeah, so you say that, but then you
what's his face?
yeah, then you reference, like, if you're a British man in middle of nowhere America, everyone's gonna be horny for you. I mean, so it's.
I just say you're going to be captivating. That's just, like, I just feel like in a lot of the other shows we've listened to, even if the sexual element isn't in the first couple episodes we listen to, Clay will tell us later, like, oh yeah, there's some stuff, and I'm like,
it gets
cool.
sticky.
Did it need to be that
No, it doesn't.
Yes.
Yeah.
Back in Alante on this one.
Does this get horny? Oh my god, does it get horny?
No,
No,
we're
No,
not allowed.
no horny
We don't need to know.
spoilers.
We don't need to know.
That is too far in the future. It's outside of
Tune
our
in for a
purview.
Patreon series of Hear It and Horny when we discuss.
That's just
Gotta
the
get
after
OnlyFans
show.
for that
It's
one.
the after
Oh my
show.
god.
I'm so
Yeah,
glad we
where
don't
Alante
record the
and
after
Clay
show.
forced me and Izzy to listen to smut, and we're just like,
Yeah,
Why me?
We're just confused.
What?
Horse.
What smut was
man.
this? Where was I?
and Ashley's there like, yes, tell me more.
Ooh, noise.
Oh
Yeah.
man.
So I guess as last sort of final pickle situation, I'm on no pickle with this one just because of how the sort of audio choices, like it's a legit audio choice. Like this is not necessarily a case of like this is being delivered on poorly. It's total in personal preference mode because there's a lot that hits you. Like a lot of the choices for me felt very on the nose, like the duo de fleur with the stabby noises feeling very out of sort of like the Hunger or like American Horror Story situation. You have like a lot of things that hit you, like, you know, we go from that whole like wolves and ravens to chainsaws, and like there's a lot that kind of hits you. It's very sort of punchy all the time, and there's not a lot of ways that things are blended out. So a lot of like front-ended like ticking clocks and radio static, and music does a lot of the work of the sound design on this one. And while Alante is really into music as sound design, I am less so. Like, it's not my jam. So like that's totally where this one sits for me. Is it's just like I was intrigued by the story elements. I thought that there was a lot of interest to get us forward, but I was a little put off by just the design of it.
Now, I know we're pushing time real quick, but I asked Alante a personal question. I want to ask you a question, too. We're talking about music as sound design. What about music as character, or is that the same for you?
Music as character follows characters in their situation. Music as sound design follows more of a sense of like what you're supposed to feel in the moment, in the scene.
Okay.
Like
Okay.
this is like there was a lot of stuff with like you know, they're in the FBI like what's the word, interview room, and you have this sort of very like snare drummy detective-y kind of thing going on with the like it's like it's got like that sense of like there's time, there's beats, like it covers a lot of like the little cuts and the dead zones, because like when you do have those instances where there's like not something going on, or it's like one thing like the ticking clock, those silences are punchy, like very kind of like they're down notes, and you get the sense that there's not an ambient track that's being used to like give you that sense of combined room noise to blend it all and kind of make it a little bit easier on the ear. So music does a great job of doing that blend for you, because you can't really like hear over it, and like that it gives you it leads you in a direction of what to feel, as opposed to like letting the characters' performances do that for you. And that's
And we
an
have some
element
great
that I'm not-
performances too.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel like there's one moment where Josie is like, she's like yelling because she's on the phone. They're like, we found a body, and nobody tells her that it's not Oliver right
Yeah.
away. And I'm like,
Also,
why
like,
wouldn't
what the
we
heck
tell her
is
that
that?
up
It's
up
like,
front?
you know, we don't know
Yeah.
who it is. Just give us something.
So unprofessional. Just be like, it's not your missing friend that we're implying that it is.
Like, Ray,
But yeah, like
buddy,
she's like screaming.
Why are you like this? You know.
Yeah, but she's like screaming into the phone. She's like, "Who is it?" Or she's yelling.
Yeah, she's-
Like the emotion is there in the performance,
Mm-hmm.
and then the music comes in, and it's very strong. It's like boom, 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 like to like swell the emotion. I'm like, she's got it already. We don't need all of this.
Yeah.
Yeah, the performance is there. You know.
Yeah.
So Jessica, which way are you leaning then? We got 2 no pickles so far. Clay's a pickle.
Well, we have a
What are you
cucumber.
thinking?
Lante's a cucumber.
Oh,
We have
cucum-
we have
okay,
a
sorry.
pickle,
I
a
missed the
cucumber, and a
cucumber.
no pickle. Yeah.
I guess I'm kind of with Alante on this one. Like I'm hopeful.
What?
And I know. I know.
Is the world ending?
The moon is getting
I'm-
closer, yes.
Oh, frozen over?
I get like we can when we talk to the creator, we can sort of see like what's like as the story goes on, it's like, was this intentional or is this because I don't know, I always feel bad. I'm on a review show and I'm like, I don't like critiquing things. Because like I don't.
It's part of the job.
Well, it's like if you go back to like my first performances as like a voice actor or something, and then someone was like, "This wasn't what it should be," I'd be like, "Yeah, it didn't turn out how I intended, but this was the best I could do at this moment." And like if you listen now, I'd like to think I'm a lot better. So it's like some of this stuff could be choices that comes up later on. Some of it could just be like stuff that like I'm doing the best that I can with what I have right now because she's doing everything.
Yeah.
She's the lead in it, and she's doing a great job as the lead. She's doing the writing. She's doing the producing. She has a composer, but she's presumably working with the composer on that. So, yeah, like I'd have to see more of the story to know what's intentional, what are why are these choices being made. But like, if you're into like sound design and big scores and fast-paced movement of a story, I think you'd probably really enjoy this.
And it has a lot to offer. And it's very listenable to with a lot of things going on around you because of the way it's designed, which is an advantage.
I will say, listen with headphones. I listened to episode 1 without, and I immediately knew that was a bad choice. So I listened to all the rest.
She tells you
At the beginning.
Yeah,
Every
I
episode
had other
she tells
things
you.
to do.
No one tells Alante what to do.
No, you're not my supervisor.
The worst part is that came from somewhere. I know where the quote is, but that came from somewhere deep in your soul. You have some shit to work out, my friend.
Oh, we're getting personal now.
Oh, we know who your supervisor is.
No. I have no well, my cats. The end.
Okay, so that is it for this segment of our episode. We will be interviewing the creator, Allison, in a little bit, but that is the end for this episode. You can listen. I don't think we actually talked about it, how we wanted to do the interviews, if we wanted that Patreon wallet or not, but I guess we'll figure that out and you'll find out soon.
We'll all find out together.
We're all on this rocket strapped.
All right. Yes.
You're learning with us, and we appreciate you for being here with us for the ride.
Oh, yes.
Yes. So if you haven't already, we hope you will give Partial a listen and tell us what you think. Or if you have a horror podcast you would like us to review, we would love to hear from you. If you're listening from YouTube, you just comment below. Or if you're listening from a podcast streaming app, you can find a link to Partial or the link to submit a suggestion in the show notes. So next time we'll be discussing Ghost Wax. I'm throwing that in right now because I don't actually have one picked yet, but that sounds like the next best one, so let's go with it. We'll be discussing Ghost Wax. Until then, this episode ends, but the horror keeps playing. See you next time. Alrighty. Ashley here, reminding you to check us out on Patreon, where you can get early access to episodes and when you join, are automatically invited to all the recording sessions. Follow us on Instagram at Heard in Horror Podcast for all the updates. Heard in Horror Podcast is brought to you by Dabbed in Ink. Here, adventure.